Welcome back to the Dynasty Football Maniacs. All right, today we're going to be covering the IDP players. We're going to tier them out, NFL 2024 results. So let's take a look at that. You got any ideas of who you're going to put in tier one?
I have at least three players that I would like to throw in tier one that you probably will agree with.
Give me your first one.
Well, I think number one, I think we should throw in Max Crosby.
For DL, yes, I definitely agree. As a tier one, he is a tier one in that position, and probably overall, he's a top end pick. Last year, just looking at the scoring, oh, I got something blown in my face. I'm sorry. Bringing it up real quick. I got a fly in here. Jesus Christ, this is gonna drive me nuts. I'll be over here going, what? It'll be like one of them movies in a minute. Like smack my eyeball, kick the table over, jump up, bang my head. Jesus Christ, I gotta
Right.
slow down. So where did he place last year in scoring? So let me pull that list up because I got the whole top IDP just cornered for scoring. Max Crosby. Well, it'd be better if I did a search because he's not at top because he is a DL. Well, not too bad. I mean, looks like he's down. He was 22 overall for DL in
I mean,
scoring.
especially missing some games too. I mean, that's pretty impressive. And
Yeah.
plus, the Raiders linked him to a pretty big deal, so he was going to be a Raider for a while, which is
He's 114th total in scoring, so that is not bad at all. Total points for the games he missed because he only played 13 games last season, so he averaged 10 points a game, which is pretty good. Uh, some of your top scorers average between your top two averaged 16, and then the next two, and the next two and four averaged 14, and then the next guys averaged 13 all the way till the top 10, and then from 11 to 15 they averaged 12, and there was a few that had higher averages that missed more games, but still that's not bad at all. 10 points
no,
for a defense
and
player.
yeah, and he's the best
For
defensive player on that team.
and overall, the last couple of years, he's been really producing, and I mean, he's very high, especially when they added who was the Christian Wilkins? They added to the line. That's also going to help him out. I mean, that's something. It's a positive, definitely. So I'm going to add a guy to the list. I think Zaire Franklin from Indiana should be a tier one.
I can agree with that.
Zaire had a pretty good season too, but he's a linebacker. Linebackers always have a good. Actually, he finished number one this year. So, and the guy that finished behind him was who?
Was it Raquan?
Nope, it was Zach Bond from Philadelphia.
Ah, okay, that makes sense. He had a pretty good. He had a really good year.
That to me, I think out of any surprise or special thing for a player that's been playing as many years as he's been playing, he's down there at the Saints as a backup. He gets an opportunity to go to the Eagles on a trade or whatever that swap was. They decide to put him as a middle linebacker, and boy, oh boy, did we get some excitement. So at the end of the day, that was impressive because it's not just offense that wins a Super Bowl; it is a defense. And I think the Philadelphia Eagles invested good money in re-signing him. I think we're going to see a lot of them next year. But no, I'm not going to throw him in a tier one yet. No, this is 1 year spasm.
Uh, I was about to say, me and you were about to have a very big conversation on this if you were, but
No. But the next guy I do agree that's been constantly in the top three, even though he didn't finish in the top three this year, but he's pretty regularly up there and he's really high on my totem pole. And that's Raquan Smith from Baltimore. So he definitely needs to be in a tier one. I do agree with that. And I believe
yep.
the other guy, well, let me let you, if you have any other guy do you believe that should be up there in tier one?
I have I have one more.
I want to see if it's the same guy I have. So I want to hear it.
I was gonna suggest Fred Warner.
That is exactly who I was going to put in that little category.
Okay,
So,
okay.
so I wanted to make sure we were there together. or if it was off on the thing. I want to let you guys know today is a blind day for me because me and Austin has not shared our list. We are doing this live today. We are going mono to mono. So that's why we're kind of swapping off on who we think, and we're just adding little tidbits in there while we talk about these guys. Uh,
Right.
so yeah, I think that should round off because that's a pretty good list. I feel like we're missing someone. I
Do
feel like
you?
we're no. I think
I think we should start off on tier two now. That's just my opinion. I think tier one is a pretty stacked, you know, tier for crop of people right now.
yeah, I agree, and I believe the only other guy that should be next is from Jacksonville. All right,
Okay.
so the next one going into tier two is Fulashade Alukin for tier two. Uh, he's kind of still bordered tier one, but he is kind of falling off slightly. He still has a lot of potential of always bouncing back. Don't count him out in a defensive draft. I would definitely pick this guy up. He's one of the best linebackers out there. I mean, last year he kind of fell off a little bit last year, but not far. Fred Warner was 11. Yeah, it was a different list last year, actually. It was shocking to see how it changed up last year than the last couple of years. I mean, he finished down 37 overall for linebackers, where normally he finishes in the top five. Raquan Smith always finishes in the top three. He finished 14 this year as a linebacker. People that you had at number one, well, Zaire Franklin still held on to the like top position, but he was number one. 280.5 points altogether, had 93 tackles, 80 assists, 3.5 sacks, had 2 interceptions, 5 forced fumbles. Ooh, that's ugly going in there, smacking that ball. Uh, man, played 17 games. That is good. It had a 90% on the roster. So, I mean, he was pretty much rostered a lot of places. 17 games is impressive for any defensive player. Uh, Yeah, so I mean, he had a great season, and then Zach Bond finished next, and the next one was Robert Spillman. So I mean, so yeah, that's a little different to see that. And overall scoring, Frank Warner he finished 11 in linebacker, but he was 13 in overall. So I mean, linebackers are always going to be your higher grade sometimes. Now there is a swap sometimes. Sometimes you do see your defensive backs, and a lot of times it's your safety ends up or free safety. Some one of them guys end up like coming out and just blowing away the scores. We had it a couple years back, but a lot of times it is your linebacker that is your top scorer, or you have another catcher in fantasy. You have a defensive back that punt returns, and if your league has a good punt returner, he could become a top scorer quick in the defense. So always remember that. All right, so let's get back to our list. And now, who else do we think is going to be tier two?
So I'm gonna throw his name out there, and I know he got hurt and missed most after week 6. He missed most of the season or the rest of the season.
Can I
But
take a guess of what college team he played on?
you can, but before he got hurt, he already racked up 7.5 sacks before he got hurt in 6 games.
So let me guess. I'm not going to guess the player. I don't know who you're thinking, but I believe he played for Michigan.
You would be correct. He did play for Michigan.
So that must be the one and only Aiden Hutchinson. What a beast! I hated that guy when he played for Michigan.
Yeah,
Uh,
I think he definitely deserves to be in tier two.
Definitely a tier two. Probably going to be working his way up to tier one sooner or later. Maybe sooner than later. Uh, I guess the next one I'm going to throw in there is Will Anderson Jr. from Houston. I think he still needs enough respect to go into a tier two spot.
I can agree with that.
And I'm going to throw one more out there, another Detroit guy, Jack Campbell.
I also agree with that.
So now I want you to give me one. Do you have any other guys that you believe that believes blah 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 blah? And Porky Pig said, Yeah. Anyone else you
I
believe?
got I got a couple more. Um, I'm gonna throw this name out. He played for the Buffalo Bills, and
Ooh.
he is a linebacker.
Initials. Let me guess the initials.
Go ahead.
TB.
Yes,
Okay.
I. Well, since you basically know who it is, I like to throw out Terrell Bernard.
Yes, he was next on my list. All right, I got one for you. He's a
Okay,
helmet ripper.
let me guess. Uh, he plays for the Brownstains.
Oh yeah. Wow. Did you just go there? I mean,
I'm
I'm not a Browns fan, but do we have to call them stains?
Well, I mean, what else are you gonna call them? You ain't gonna call them greatness, are you?
Oh no, that's far from the word. That can't come out of my mouth.
But I do agree with putting Myles Garrett in here.
I do too. Myles Garrett is one of the top defensive players. All right.
Okay, so I do have another one. I'm gonna
All
sling
right.
it out there. We can always throw it up for discussion if you want to.
Okay, go ahead.
Um, I think they had two good linebackers. We already done named one of them. This one's name's a little bit easier to pronounce. But he's a linebacker. He's also a linebacker out of Jacksonville,
Okay.
and I think we should consider Devin Lloyd.
Devin Lloyd. And while we're at that, I think TJ Edwards should also be up in there.
Okay, I'm good with that because I have one more, and that's it for tier two, and then I'm done with tier two.
Okay, give me your one more.
My one more, it's going to be a Georgia boy. He played for Georgia, and he's a linebacker out of Green Bay. He plays for Green Bay now. Um, I believe we should consider. Uh, I think his name is Walker.
Way Walker, yes.
Quay Walker. I think we should. I think we should consider him. But that's all I have for tier two though. After him,
I honestly, in a lot of places, have him ranked lower, but I still don't think he's dropped out of tier two, and I don't believe Nick Bolton's fell off that far to discredit him this year. I think he still needs to stay in tier two this year. I mean, his stats kind of had a fall last year, not bad.
it's not too bad though.
Yeah, he's been up at the top too much. He's been up there just like the Raquan Smiths and stuff. I mean, I don't know why people discredit him so quick. Is it because of Kansas City?
It could be
Yeah, I think it is. We're gonna put him in tier two. We're gonna be different. We are our own show. We're not everybody else. So
exactly,
our list does not have to look like everybody else's list.
exactly.
Now we need to definitely get into tier three. Maybe not as big as tier two, but I am going to start off with Jaden Brooks from Miami. Jordan Brooks, I'm sorry, from Miami. I don't know why I said Jaden. Jaden Daniels was on my mind. And that's maybe not good to have on your mind.
Well, I mean, if you're definitely trying to come up with a way to acquire him in Dynasty, then yeah, I can see why he would be on your mind.
Well, I was thinking of different things on my mind at the time when I thought of his name. So I was like, it just didn't make any sense.
Okay, well, you might want to keep that to yourself.
All right. So that's who I'm kicking off with tier
I
three.
I agree with that.
All right, you give me a list.
I'll throw him out there. I know he played 11 games. He got hurt like around week 13 or 14, but during them 11 games, he played tremendously well by almost having digit tackles in every single game and scoring over 12 fantasy points every single game. I am going to throw my contestant of Logan Wilson, the linebacker out of Cincinnati.
I have no arguments with that. And since we're going to give a little bit of Cincinnati love, let's go over to the next state, to Chicago, and give some Chicago love. Let's go to New Jersey, Quincy Williams.
I can agree with that. I definitely can agree with that.
Then
You have
let's
a little.
let's go to Jaden Daniels' team. Let's go there. Let's talk about Jaden Daniels' team. How about a Bobby Wagner?
Yeah, I could do that. We can do that.
Can't forget
But
about him there.
we are also, if we're gonna go with a Commanders linebacker, we have to go to their division rival, and up there in New Jersey,
Oh my God.
which makes no sense. They're New York Giants, but they play in New Jersey. But whatever. Um, Bobby Okereke.
Oh, you mean he's with the Giants?
Yeah, that's the reason
Oh,
why I
they
said
do play in New Jersey. Oh my God, that you just put a funny in that, and I didn't even catch it. Oh, okay.
that. Yeah, that's why I said
It's
it.
like, well, he's. What do you got in your drink? I know what I have in my drink.
Oh, I have chocolate deliciousness in my drink.
Oh no, mine was a bullet and a Coke.
Ah,
That was
wonderful.
rye.
But no, so we didn't get. I know you didn't get that joke, but either way,
I got it now. I'm laughing my ass off. Do you see me?
I think we should throw Bobby Okereke in here as well.
Or KK. Or KK is in there. How about that? All right. All right. Algier from Houston. Let's not forget about him. And when you say his name, another one comes to my name because when I see his name, Algier, the next thing that pops in my head is Patrick McQueen.
Damn
Now
it!
I don't know if that's weird or different for someone just because they don't play on the same team, but it's like when I hear them two names, I think of them two players. I mean, to me, they're like two apples there. I mean, I don't know. Maybe I'm going too far with it. I don't know.
Well, you took my last guy that I wanted to throw in tier three with Patrick Queen, so I got nobody else.
Well, that's what we share sometimes. I mean, he is the queen. I mean, sharing the queen is fine.
He should change his name to King to make it sound better, but
No, I like queen. If you call me a queen, I'm good.
oh
Uh,
yeah, you got to say that little pinky up in the air.
no one told you to talk about what I had.
Oh man! All right, I think we should jump into tier four now.
Yeah,
Unless you
before
got
we go to
somebody
tier
else.
four, all right, we'll go to tier four. Let's see here. Let's see here.
You want to kick it off, or you want me to kick it off?
Well, I'm just going to kind of run through this real
Okay.
quick. Force aid. So we got Max Crosby, Zaire Franklin, Raquan Smith. Maybe I'm
Rock
drinking too
Queen.
quickly. Yeah, I'm drinking too much. Uh, we'll slow down a little bit. It was double shots today. Uh, Raquan Smith and Fred Warner, tier one. Tier two, Forsade, Aiden, Will Hutchinson, Jack Campbell, Terrell Bernard, Myles Garrett, Devin Lloyd, TJ Edwards, Quay Walker, Nick Bolton. Tier three, we got Jordan Brooks, Logan Wilson, Quincy Williams, Bobby Wagner, and God, oh man, Alzier and Patrick McQueen. Tier four. Let's kick it off with the number three scorer for defensive players this year, Robert Spillman.
I agree with that. I am okay with that.
Grab me a player.
I got you a player. I th- I think we should put. I think I know he's a little bit on the older side, but if you look at his history, he's a linebacker out of Atlanta, and I think we should put Caden Ellis in tier four because of the year he had, which was a really good year.
Well, I totally agree with Caden Ellis. Well, I got a lot of stuff going on here. I keep hitting that button. I don't want to hit that button. Let me quit doing that. So my next guy I'm going to put in there is a great team that deserves more but has less because of the owner. Uh, I'm going to go with Micah Parson for Dallas.
Yeah, you took it. I had him. I was gonna lock and load him in the first one, but I was like, oh, that's too obvious. I'm gonna go somewhere else.
You
But
like
no,
how I said that?
but I do agree with you because I mean he's had in the last 4 years he's had double digit sacks every year.
I swear to God, I'm going to do my Elvis thing in a minute. So if I go karate chopping, it's not that I done lost my mind here. But I definitely got to fly in the room. Okay, guys. This is really like every time I'm talking, this thing goes in there. I'm like, ready to go. I mean, you better watch
Mm.
it. I mean, like, it's not, I'm trying to do the engine show here. All right, let's go on. I don't know
Uh,
what's, all right. So
uh,
after Micah Parson, who you want to put in here?
all right, I have a pretty good one. He's a traveling man, as I like to call him. But he's
Seems like,
a really good traveling man. I don't know why he keeps getting traded off and stuff. He's a pretty good traveling man for the production he's been putting up. He was with the Rams last year, but now he signed with the Seahawks this year for a 3-year deal. I think we should put Ernest Jones
oh, definitely.
in tier 4 because I don't understand, but he had over every year he had over at least 110 tackles every single year, which is pretty good for linebacking terms.
Trying to see where he was ranked at last year. But yeah, I do agree with that. So who else do you got?
Well, I got one. He's a he's a he got hurt last year now, but if you look at his past production, he has been really productive, and I still think he's going to be productive for elite a few years. But I think we should throw in Alex Singleton from the Broncos. Because like I said, he got hurt, but he's been over 113 tackles every single year except last year since he got hurt. And I really don't think there's a couple of other people we done ranked ahead of us that, got hurt. And he's also one of those guys that you can grab later in your drafts, like if for people who have startup drafts.
All right. So my next two is going to be Nick Boza.
I agree with that.
And the next one after that is okay. I see all these rankings come out,
Hmm.
and I really can't understand where people are thinking these people are going to fall off because every time they say they're going to fall off, they don't fall off. But I'm sorry, I cannot keep
I
TJ
have an I.
Watt out of tier 4.
Okay, yeah, I'm good with that.
And then I got one more guy that most people don't have in tier 4 that
I I
I'm
think
gonna
I have an idea, but can I
there's
guess? Can I guess where he possibly plays at?
yeah, guess.
Does he play for a team in Florida?
No.
No. Okay, well then you didn't take my guy then. So go ahead with your guy.
All right. I know he only had 1 year, but see, when you're tiering for the next season. That is what we're doing. We're giving you these guys did not rank this. Some of these players we're naming are maybe 50th on the scoring from last year, but previous years and what their record shows is they will probably be in the top 20. This guy only had one bang out year, but it was his only opportunity. And he done a very good job with it. And I don't think anybody identified how to fix it going into the next year. So we're going to see a lot of numbers out of him next year. I think a lot of people are undercutting him, thinking he's a 1 year deal. Philadelphia didn't. That's why Philadelphia signed him for that contract. And I believe that Zach Bond will finish in the top 5 next year for scoring. So to sit here and discredit him and not at least put him in a tier 4, and I bit my tongue through the first 3 tiers out of self respect because he hasn't really proved himself. He's still kind of like a mid year guy. I just think putting him below tier 4 is just like undercutting him. That's my argument.
Oh, you ain't really gonna get an argument with me because I don't mind it.
All right.
But I do have one more guy I want to throw out there to
All
put
right.
in tier 4, and then I'm done with tier 4 for me. Uh,
Gotcha.
it is a guy who plays in Florida, and he is an eldersman, yes, but he is a hell of a linebacker still. I don't care what you say or who says it, because statistics show that he still got juice. And I would like to throw my hat in for Levante David.
I have no disagreement. So with tier 4, we got Robert Spillman, New England, Caden Ellis, Atlanta, Micah Parson, Dallas, Ernest Jones, Seattle, Alex Singleton, Denver, Nick Bosa, San Francisco, TJ Watt, Pittsburgh, Zach Bond, Philadelphia, and Levante David, Tampa Bay. I totally agree with that. So now let's open up tier 5, and I'm gonna let you put the guy in first. Who do you want to put in first?
All right. So earlier you wanted to show some Chicago love, and that is what I'm going to do. I'm going to show some Chicago love by throwing their other best linebacker they have, and I'm gonna throw in Tremaine Edmonds to start off the tier.
I totally agree with that. So who else you got?
Okay, now we are going to take a trip to Maryland, except for it's not Baltimore, it's actually Washington, because for some reason they also play in Maryland instead of, like Washington, D.C. or something, but I digress on that too. Um, Either way, I think we should throw in Frankie Louvet in this tier.
Well, do you realize Washington D.C. is actually in Maryland and Virginia?
Well, they need to pick one then. They don't need to have it and just like split it. They should pick Virginia because Maryland already has a team. they
The
could be they
location
could
is
be
where the
they could be something else besides the Commanders.
that's true. I don't like the name the Commanders. They should go back to the Redskins.
I agree.
All right. So now that's me. And I want to give out some love to last year rookies. And the first rookie I'm going to put on that list is Jarrett Verse from the Los Angeles Rams.
No, I agree with that.
And then the next rookie I'm going to throw out there is the guy that I was hyped up on a lot last year. Loved the guy. I was all into him. You put him on my cover because I just like that little stomp that he had. And I know Austin knows who I'm talking about now, Peyton Wilson. Did I say his name right?
Yeah, you did, and I do agree with you. I threw him in tier 5 as well.
He's playing for Pittsburgh, if you guys don't know. I'm just going to throw you out. He's right there with the great TJ Watts. Yes, I said the great TJ Watts.
All right, so I got one. We're gonna show some love for the Brown stains, and which is the Browns for people not following. And it's a linebacker for the Browns, and I'm probably gonna butcher his name, but Jeremiah Awansu Koromoa.
Ramoa. I mean,
Yes,
Jeremiah. Yes. You said it
yes,
right.
and he has a hell of a mustache, by the way. just in case
Yeah.
you ain't saw his picture on Sleeper.
No, I haven't. I need to go check that out because I still can't get over the who was it last year? Oh my God. Went to the Minshew. My God, his photo. Jesus.
Yeah, well, this is a pretty good mustache. I will say.
I will have to check it out. All right.
So I do have
So
another one though, if you would like to hear it.
yes, give me one more. I'm gonna let you touch me with one more. I'm gonna let you say one more, not touch anybody.
Okay, so he just signed an extension. I know he's 30, but like we said,
Age don't
age
matter.
doesn't matter, especially with defensive players. They really don't matter unless you're just
Age like
40.
fine wine.
Yeah. Yeah, and they hand offensive players some cheese to go with that wine.
Yes. And the older you
Uh,
get, the more you want to pressure someone, push against some other men.
but but I'm throwing Danielle Hunter.
Yes, from Houston. I agree. So since you got them two, I got two nice guys I'm going to throw in this bunch. They're not nice guys when they're on the field. Most people hate even facing off with these guys.
Wait,
They hear their names and they run the other way.
before you call them, is one of them a rookie?
Actually, yes.
Oh, you might have stole my guy then, but go ahead.
Well, the Edrin Cooper, Green Bay.
Yep, you stole my guy. That's who I was gonna call.
He's new, but his name is on many men's lips. Ah,
I'm sorry. Um, I'm not even gonna ask how you have that information.
and the next one makes me sweat. Montez Sweat, Sweet from Chicago. Oh,
Okay, we are on a heater right now.
oh man, my chest still hurts. I had food poisoning a couple of days ago, and I mean, I'm still suffering the backlash of that.
Oh my.
Yeah, that's what I said. Well, this is the only one in the house that suffered, but I probably suffered the worst because I'm old. They're all young. They're all jubilant afterwards. Me, I was still laid up, curled in the bathroom, screaming, "Am I dying? Can't breathe no more." I was like,
Jesus.
"Shit, take me, call 911." I even screamed for my wife. I said, "Get 911. I ain't getting up." My chest still hurts,
Oh
uh,
goodness.
but it's all good now. I'm happy now. I'm feeling better.
Well,
All right.
we're all that's always good. So
That's
I
what you
got
get when you stop at Walmart. You pick up your meat and your hand sanitizer.
oh wow. Oh wow. Okay. Well, so on that note, I have only two more players I like to
All
throw
right.
up for contention,
All right.
and one of them's a rookie, and I know he only played a few games, but the way their linebacking core is, I believe that he is going to be set up for success this coming year. And I would like to throw my hat in for Junior Colson, the linebacker out of the Chargers. I'd like to throw my hat in there for him.
Oh, I agree, Junior. Yes.
And I have one more,
All right.
and he is not a rookie; he is a veteran, and he's actually had a pretty good year with the Giants. And I'm going to throw in Brian Burns.
Oh, I was about to say you weren't going to leave the Burns off the list.
I don't know. I was afraid you were, so I figured I'd go ahead and call it. But that will be the end for me of putting anybody else in tier five.
So you got Brian Burns, and I think we are going to add one more. No, we won't. We'll put him in tier six. All right. So starting off with tier six, I'm going to Cincinnati with Trey Hendrickson.
Hendricks.
Yeah, Hendricks. I don't know why I made that so complicated.
And yes, I do agree.
I'm not wearing my glasses and I'm drinking. This like if you want to see triple vision, that's the way to do shit. Kind of wink across the room at the young lady over there. That's my wife. I'm winking at. Trust me. If it was anybody else, I would have two black eyes right now.
You gonna throw another one out, or do you want me to throw one out?
Let me see. Yes, I'm gonna throw one more out, and that is Bubble. Sorry, man. Bubba Baker,
I
Arizona.
I agree.
Now I know everybody's like, why is he all the way at tier 6? And he scored fourth highest overall this year. Well, that was this year. DB, yes, he always finishes in the top. DBs are usually less than your linebackers. There's a lot of linebackers in between DBs and linebackers. Now, depending on the fantasy league you're in and how your points are scored, sometimes it's better, like just in a plain PPR, your linebacker's always going to have the heftier points. So the DBs are not going to be as good. And very few leagues have punt returner points because they kind of like they separate it into the defense or whatever. And then some don't. So the ones that don't, when a DB is a punt returner, it helps them out. Bubba Baker is not a punt returner, but in his circumstances, he just did great this year. I mean, overall, he has that potential of scoring in the top 3 as a DB, sometimes scoring in the top 5 overall. He's a little older now, but I still think he's well deserved to be in the top 7 tiers, and I think we got him in the right spot. All right, who do you got next?
All right. So for my next two, the first one I'm going to bring up the defensive lineman from Kansas City, and I'm going to go with George Karloftis
The third.
the third.
Yeah, let's not forget the third because there was 2 others before him.
Well, you know what? We should already know this by now, so we shouldn't even have to emphasize the third. All right.
It's like the guy that gives the wedding speech and
Yeah.
he says, I got here because I got laid. He's
Yep.
giving a speech for his son.
That's basically what it is.
Yeah, that was probably one of the funniest videos I recently watched when I seen someone give his speech at his son's thing saying the reason I'm here is I got laid. I was like, yep, that's what I'm gonna say at my kid's wedding. I already see it. Oh, it's awesome. Um,
All right. So the second guy I'm going to bring up, he is a safety from Baltimore. I'm going to throw in Kyle
ooh,
Hamilton.
all right. And since you're wanting to talk all safeties, I have a safety I'd like to follow in right behind yours, and I think he deserves to be there. James Derwin from Los Angeles Chargers. James Jr.
I agree with that. I got another safety if you want to keep the safety train going.
Let's keep the safety train going. What we got?
I'm going to go with the safety down at Tampa. And I think we need to throw in Antoine Winfield Jr.
Yes. Hey, can you hear my kids screaming?
No, I cannot.
Good. I might not even worry about it then. I know I got that sound reducer on my box, but I don't know how well it works. Now I notice a lot of times when you hear something, if you hear it, it's definitely picking it up. But if you don't hear it, sometimes when I go back to listen to the sound, I don't hear it either. So, but I can
Right.
hear it. I can't hear it in my earpiece, and my earpiece is letting me hear all the sounds that are going on between us. But I can hear it in the other ear that doesn't have the sound piece, and it's like driving me nuts. But the louder they get, I know sooner or later they're going to register on my board. I got to watch the little the dots,
Right.
as you'd say.
Right.
All right, I'm sorry, distraction. Yes, I totally agreed. And everybody don't remember, Antonio Winfield Jr. finished as the top defensive scorer of 2023, not this year, last year. So there is times where safeties and defensive backs became the number one guy. That was that year. This year he had injuries. He wasn't that. He was good every time he's on the field. He's good. He produces what he produces. But this year he did not score the number one spot. Actually, this year, I have it only screened for linebackers. Hold on, let me turn on all the things here. Oh, not too bad. 118 overall score. Now, when you guys are saying 118, that you're like, oh, that's a long way. Remember, this list contains almost close to maybe what 500 to a
Well,
thousand. No, about 600 players.
well, he also only played 9 games last year because he
Yeah,
was
9
hurt
games,
too.
averaging over 11 points a game, guys. So the games he touched, he was impressive. So yeah, to score 119 or 118 and only played in 9 games, you're up there because you got to think about how many players are in the NFL, right? I mean, this list is huge because this
Mm-hmm.
list includes all the DBs, all your linebackers, all your DLs. A front line has 3 to up to 5 players sometimes on it. And then you got your middle linebackers, your safeties, you got 2 corners. Yeah, I can just go on. All right, who else you got?
So I am going to throw in. We are going to go show some Jaguars some love, and we should throw in Josh Hines Allen.
I can agree with that. I think we agree more when we don't see each other's list.
How odd!
Yeah, when we see each other's list, we come up with an argument somewhere. It's like, hey, I don't like that. Let's talk about that one. And here we're like, just this looks good. This looks good.
Well,
All
I
right, my
mean,
turn.
go ahead.
All right, I am gonna go with a rookie again. Well, he was not. Well, how many years has he been playing now? No, he's still kind of a rookie. Brian Branch for Detroit, former
Yeah, I
Alabama
agree.
player. He
I
had a
agree.
he did get hurt when he come out, but he's back on track. And then my next player is a veteran, but he's also kind of like a guy that they toss around sometimes. People don't love him like other people should. Uh, Jonathan Greenert.
I agree with that.
All right. So I went
So,
with a defensive back and a linebacker.
okay, well, I got another two. And the first one, I think we should consider the linebacker out of Cincinnati, Jermaine Pratt.
I was wondering if we were going to bring his name up today. You
Oh
know,
no, we were going to eventually. Trust me.
yeah, they're slowly building that team up.
Well, they went heavy on the offensive weapons by paying them, which is good. But they really need to hit on their draft picks defensively this year.
Do something real quick with my list. It's just getting huge.
Well,
Got to make it. We
that's
got to make
usually
it.
what happens with the defensive players, though.
Yeah, and then you're doing all 3 positions. So another. I know we probably went through this 100 times. Just for people that are new to the show or people that's never played IDP. IDP breaks down defense into 3 positions: DL, DB, LB. Okay. LB is linebacker, DB is defensive back, and DL is defensive line. All right. So usually some of them guys play dual positions. You'll have a LB slash DL, DL slash LB, or you'll have very seldom you see a DB slash L. Well, you see them LB, but I never see them DLs. I never seen that, but it happens. It just they play dual positions in defense.
Yep, they sure do. I have
All
one
right.
more,
All right.
and you'll like this one because he's a Georgia boy, and he plays with the Eagles. And I think we should throw in Nakobe Dean.
Oh, I like that. And if you're going to add N'Kobe Dean, let's not forget about Xavier McKinley from Green Bay.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I believe that should round off our tier 6.
All right, I guess I'll save them other two for tier 7.
Well, I mean, if you think they need to be in this, I'm fine with putting them in this.
Well, let me just name them, and then you can decide for yourself if you think they do or don't.
All right.
The only two that I have that's left is the linebacker or and sleeper. He's linebacker slash DL. But I have Travion Walker from Jacksonville, and then I have a linebacker out of the Broncos. I have Nick Bonetta.
So you said Nick Bonetta and who else?
Travion Walker.
Well, I agree. Both of them should be in tier 6. I'm good with that. All right. So right now, since we started this, covering 3 positions, we have named 54 players for a draft. So if you're in a draft, I think this will be a healthy list to use. We're on our tier 7. This is the last roll. But before we go to the last roll, I'm going to try to run through these names real quick. If I hope I don't butcher anybody as I'm running in there through their names. Trey Henderson from Cincinnati, Bubba Baker, Arizona, George Karlaftis the third, Kyle Hamilton from Baltimore, James Derwin Jr. from uh, LA Chargers, right?
Yes.
All right. Antonio Winfield. I didn't type in his team. That's why I had to take a like I had to remember where he played. Antonio Winfield Jr., Tampa Bay. Then another Chargers player, Josh Hines Allen. Um, then one of my favorite rookies that I was hyped up on when he came out was Brian Branch, Detroit. Jonathan Greenyard, Minnesota. Jermaine Pratt, Cincinnati. N'Kobe Dean from Philadelphia did a great last year. Xavier McKinley, Green Bay. Travion Walker, another Chargers, and Nick Benito out of Denver, rounding off our tier 6. So for our final tiering of IDP NFL this year from last year, this does not include the rookies, guys. We'll do that after the draft. So always remember that. This is pre-draft tiering. Some of this is subject to change after the draft. Some of the rookies will enter in here. We're not going to have all these guys still ranked out like this, probably. It's going to be a little different looking.
Probably, yeah.
It always does. Everything changes up when you see how people land and positions are land and who goes where and how it happens. So I'm going to start off with tier 7, Greg Russell from Buffalo.
I feel like you're reading my mind because that's who I was going to start off with.
All right. I mean, we don't have to add a whole lot in here if you don't want to. We could just put about maybe 7 players in here.
Okay, that's fine.
We'll put it about 7 and we'll call it a day on this. So
That's
give
fine.
me or we go if you think there should be more in here, we could go more.
Well, let's just see how it goes first before we
all right.
get too crazy.
Yep. Go ahead. Give me your next one.
I know he only played 5 games last year, but like you done pointed out several times, this is what we are projecting where they will land in the future. And I think we should give more Chicago love, except for instead of the linebacking core, we go to the safety club and we do Jaquan Brisker.
I can agree with that. And then my next guy, I want to throw in Drew Greenlaw from Denver.
Okay, yeah, I like that.
He's an older guy, but he's definitely still got it as a linebacker.
Right.
So before we go on, do you think Von Miller's done? I think he's done.
I do agree. I think he's done.
I love the guy. He was always one of my favorite, but I think it's time they move on.
Yeah, I do too.
All right. We'll get out. I'll let you continue. I'm sorry. I just had to throw that in there. It just popped in my head. I seen Denver, but then I thought of Buffalo. And
Well, we
then
did name 2 people from both of them teams, so
yeah, and then it's just like this Von Miller. He just keeps popping in my head. We're like, we got
well,
to.
we're gonna get out of them 2 teams, and we're gonna go to a team down in New Orleans,
Ooh, I like it.
and I am going to throw in there the defensive lineman slash linebacker, Carl Granderson.
I like that. And how about Miss Fitzpatrick? Not Miss Fitzpatrick. Fitzpatrick,
Mm.
Pittsburgh. Uh,
Yeah, I would agree with that.
yeah, now they're wearing dresses.
Apparently so.
Saw that Tomlin going on down there.
All right now.
He's got a mess. It's a mess, my friend.
All
It's a
right.
mess.
All right now. Better quit. They got 2 wide receivers who got that
Yes,
Terry
I'm
got that
surprised
were
at what
chasing
they're
after you.
doing down there. I mean, that I did not see coming. You're going for DK Metcalf, and then you got George already. Now the question is I know Rudolph is not your quarterback.
Oh God, I hope not.
Okay, I just talked to somebody and they said they don't know.
Uh,
Aaron Rodgers is their savior.
oh, you know what? I hope they do.
If
I
they
hope
do,
they
I
do
would
it.
die. I would die. I'd be like, if I was DK, I'd be like, I'd refuse to play after that point. I'd be like, really, guys? You guys done this? But at least you drafted Ashton Jetney.
We'll see, man. We'll see.
All right.
All right. So since you threw him out there, I am going to go to where the Indy 500 is very popular. I'm going to go to the Indianapolis Colts, and I'm going to throw in their defensive back, uh, Cam Bynum.
Oh, okay. I got him. Yes, I agree. And I want to bring in another Buffalo guy because I think Buffalo has a stout defense and a defense that sometimes is not underrated at all because everybody rates them right. Hence why they're always in contention. Everybody talks about the offensive side of Buffalo, but in a way they don't. They do talk about the defensive side. I cannot say everybody just says blah 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 blah. Josh Allen, yeah, Josh Allen rolls off your tongue. He is
I mean,
Superman, but they also talk about, hey, look at that defense. That defense is there. I mean, that defense has held them in the games. I mean, so let's go with Matt Milano from Buffalo, linebacker.
okay, I can agree with that.
I mean, he is a big puzzle piece to that whole defense. And let's go ahead and just do, let's see. I want to make this a good, well, wow. I didn't realize 6 had that many. So, really, technically, for pitcher, well, it shouldn't matter. It shouldn't matter what I'm trying to do here, technical size, whatever. No, I'm not talking about the size of my hands either, guys. All right. So, who's your next guy?
Well, my next guy has some pretty big hands, and he is a defensive lineman slash linebacker out of with the Los Angeles Chargers, and I'm going to throw in Tula to Pelotu.
Oh, yeah. I love the guy there. And since you're going to throw that Chargers guy in there with that former awful guy from Michigan, uh, uh, the nightmare of all nightmares that I still dream every night, and I see his face, and even though he was born in Toledo, it still bothers me. Because I think we were born in the same hospital. Honestly, I don't know if I was born in the same hospital as Urban Myers or as him, but they were both born in Toledo, and they were both born. One was born at Toledo Hospital, where I was born. One of them was born in Toledo Hospital. I think it was Jim Hardball, and that's where I was born. Or was it Urban Myers born in Toledo? I have to look it up, but that's the hospital I was born in. I was like, oh, how about that? But we weren't born in the same year, so we weren't like near each other or anything like that. Uh, yeah, I wasn't touched.
Oh,
Jalen Petrie, Houston. I'm gonna go with him. I like that guy's hands. He can touch a ball and get it out of the sky.
okay, yeah, I agree with that.
Keep clicking on my rookie list. Jesus. I hope you name this guy next. Go ahead.
Is he a rookie?
No.
Because I wasn't gonna name a rookie after that, but
Oh.
so the next guy I would like to throw in there. He had a pretty good he had a pretty good year last year, and I really think he's gonna continue because he's kind of like our main linebacker right now. And so it's the Cowboys linebacker, DeMarvin Overshaw.
Okay. I didn't see that one coming. All right. I got to look him up. Hold on a minute. Dallas Overshawn. Okay. I found him. I just got to make sure I could spell his name here. That was going to be a tough one.
Yeah, he's not like a big name like a lot of these other ones are, but I mean, he played 13 games. He had, you know, for his real first year of playing, he had 87 tackles, 5 sacks, a forced fumble, a fumble recovery, and interception. I mean, that's a pretty good year for his real first full time year.
Oh, I have no disagreement with him because overall he scored 53 as the top scorer this year in defense,
Hmm.
30 in his positional linebacker. That right there is impressive. So, yeah, no argument there. All right, yeah, definitely. No arguments there. He's under my radar. When you said his name, I was kind of like, who? It's like, hold on a minute, and he's not on my list. So, okay, I'm good with that. I mean, I like it. I like it. I mean, that's a good pick. And then a lot of people are like, he's not on your list.
Well, yeah, like I said, he's not like a big name,
Hey, look, I
so
would draft Will Howard in the first round. That's why he's not on my list. Okay, guys, calm it down out there. All right. Yes, I'm saying it out loud and proud.
no wonder you got them comments.
Shh. Didn't mean you to egg it on. All right. So if we're going to go with that guy, I like it. I'm with it. I don't want to forget about Buckner at Indiana. So DeForest Buckner must be in this tier 7 before we close out this tier 7 because we're only going to fill 3 more spots and then we're going to have to end this list because it's getting overwhelming for us. So
Well, I mean, there's just so many players.
I know we could go on and on. We might have to go 10 tiers with this bad boy, but see, we're trying to crunch 3 positions in 7 tiers. Okay, guys. So I'm sure we'd have probably done a better job if we would split the 3 up, but way schedule and everything's kind of like laid out for how the draft is around the corner and we got to be on top of things. So we're kind
Hmm.
of rolling through it now. Uh,
Yeah, we got to get ready for our live first round draft stuff too for
yes, we got to
draft
plan
night.
that whole night out and get the kids tied down, the family locked up in the rooms, and
Hmm.
enjoy our man time together.
Yep.
Well, I'll let the kids watch with me, like they're going to give any hoots about it.
I mean, it's live. It's there for there.
Yeah. So before I continue, I'm gonna pick one more. I want to make sure we get him on the list, and then I'm gonna let you pick 2. Alex Lazon.
All right, I like that. So I'm going to throw in a rookie from last year,
Who is a
and
rookie that's good enough to be on this list?
I think it should be the Colts defensive lineman, Latu.
Latu.
And I know you're gonna like this one because
Give it to me.
he plays with the Eagles,
No, I love all Eagles,
and you
even the
know,
criminal.
uh, okay, but I think we should throw in Reed Blankenship.
Reed Brink. Oh, that one I did not see you saying. Ah, you like it when you throw me for a loop. When you said the Eagles, the first one that popped in my head was Jalen Carter.
I could have went that route, but I
But
decided to go with this one.
I like the safety better. Jalen, I think you need to work on some skills, buddy. You're good. You're great. You're going to be great, but I'm not there yet. You're actually on my overall list. He's in my tier 8, but I'm good with that. So right there covers our tier 7. We got do this real quick. That's 68 players. All right. So that's pretty impressive. Before we cut this episode off, I wanted to cover one other topic, and that is the top scorers by rank. So, like I said, this year, linebackers pretty much led the top 10. So, out of the top 10, only one defensive back made it in the top 10, and that was Bubba Baker for Arizona. He was number 4. So, I'm just going to name off the top 20 top scorers for last year. Position. So you had Zaire Franklin, linebacker, 1. Number 2, Zach Bond. Number 3 is Robert Spillian. He was a linebacker. And then Bubba Baker, defensive back. Another linebacker, Caden Ellis. You've heard some of these names in our tiering list. And Jordan Brooks from Miami was number 6. Overall, number 7 was Jermaine Sherwood from New Jersey. I don't think we had him in our tiering list, but that's fine. He did great last year. Number 8, we did mention TJ Edwards, another linebacker. And number 9, another linebacker, old age, but fine as wine, Levante David from Tampa Bay. Another one we didn't mention in our tiering list, which we probably should have, but I'm also kind of on the fence on. Andrew Van Ginkel from Minnesota. He's inching his way up there, guys. I think I'll talk more about him next year. He was number 10 overall scoring.
I think I got him as like a tier 8 guy.
Yeah, he's in my tier 8 too. And then next linebacker is Quincy Williams. He's number 11. 12 is Nick Cross from Indiana. I had to get a drink. My throat was a little bit out. Number 13 is Fred Warner. And I'm naming overall. For position, Nick Cross was number 2 as a defensive back. Fred Warner was number 11 as a linebacker. Jermaine Pratt was number 14 for Cincinnati. He was a linebacker. Number 15, linebacker, N'Kobe Dean. Number 16, defensive back, my man, Brian Branch, Detroit, number 3. Number 17, back to linebacker, Raquan Smith. Another linebacker, Eric Kendricks. Do not think we tiered him out, and I think we probably discredit him a little bit, but really not. He's in my 8, so
I don't know if he's even on the team though.
Yeah, I think he's a free agent now, ain't he? Is he
Yeah,
still?
I think that's the reason why I never even ranked him, because I think he's a free agent right now.
Is he going to be retiring? Do you know?
Man, I'm pretty sure he might if nobody signs him.
I'm sure someone's going to sign him. If he finished 18 overall and as linebacker was 15, he's going to get a job somewhere. I think it's money, but sometimes you got to just accept what you get.
I mean, you're probably right, but I mean,
the age is what's going to get him.
Yeah, I think that's the only thing. I mean, he had a good year because he was
yeah,
our
indeed.
leading linebacker. But at the same time, does anybody want to give a 33-year-old, linebacker, he probably want a pretty significant amount of change too. So
yeah. So the next
talks about how they want to structure it and all, I guess. So go ahead.
Yeah, so the next one is a linebacker again for 19, TJ Watt, Pittsburgh. And then right at 20, this is where I'm going to stop, is Dayan Henley from Los Angeles Chargers, which I don't think we gave him any love, but maybe next year. I don't even think I had him in my top 10. So I'm sorry, guys.
Well, I'm not sure either.
Yeah, he's number 20. So we don't know, like there's a lot of players out there. So sometimes you can only go by what you see and what you judge. and he wasn't under my radar. But great for them guys to finish in the top 20 overall for defense. That's including DBs, LBs. Now, you guys notice I didn't mention any DLs. Some of these guys are slash DDLs, like TJ Watts. He goes under linebacker and DL, so he's slash. And then the one that's just by DL is Trey Hendrickson from Cincinnati. He was the number one DL last year, and he ranked 27th in overall scoring. And right behind him was another great DL, Myles Garrett. But I think Myles Garrett also carries an LB. So, but he's ranked number 28. So you got your two L's right as the DLs enter the list. It's at 27 and 28. And then the next DL is not mentioned until 31, which is your Nick Bonita from Detroit. So that is the total scoring ranking. We'll have that on our little, you guys will be able to see that. If you guys like the content, hit the like button. Don't forget to subscribe. And what do you say?
And make sure you share because sharing is caring.
That is right. Sharing is caring.